Thinking about your goals and actually going for them can be as equally challenging and frustrating as it can be inspirational and exciting. That's why I'm going to share with you today 4 keys that if you implement them, you will take the path of least resistance and all of your goals will realize for you in no time. And I promise you, far less effort is needed. So make sure you watch the whole video and let's dive into that. So, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike and today we're going to be talking about how you can implement these 4 key things in your life to actually achieve anything you really want, whether it would be financial goal or relationship goal or any other area of your life where you'd like to see an improvement. What I need you to understand is that universe always take the path of least resistance. It's a principle. And you know, in the nature, you don't see rivers flowing up the hill. You see them flowing down the hill. When you throw something in the river, like a wood, it goes with the stream. It doesn't paddle up the stream. If you put the rock in the air, you drop it on the floor because of the gravity. So everything that happens in the nature and in the universe takes always the path of least resistance. It's just us because we think it's too simple concept to be true that we try to ignore it and put it on the side. And we try to overcomplicate stuff, right? But usually when the stuff is overcomplicated, these concepts are too large and extensive. We are just trying to hide the fact that we don't understand it fully with a lot of other facts, right? But the simpler the concept gets, the closer it is to the truth. And this is a very simple thing. Path of least resistance is not necessarily easy, but is simple. So stay with me for a moment so I can explain a little bit more about it. Let's take a look more deeply what the path of least resistance is and how it relates to you, to your personal self. Okay, so first of all, I want you to either write down a piece of paper or just tell it for yourself. What do you hold to be true about you? What do you think is true about you? Who you are? Describe yourself. Now, what don't you hold to be true about you? Okay, so this is something about yourself. What do you hold to be true about yourself and what you don't hold to be true about yourself? You're kind of defining yourself here. Now, I want to ask you, what kind of life do you experience? And what kind of life you don't experience? What kind of things you have and what kind of things you don't have? What kind of things you do and what kind of things you don't do? What kind of place you live in or what kind of place you don't live in? Really think about it and say it to yourself. And now try to compare what you hold to be true and not true about yourself to what you live and what you experience. You will find out that these 2 things, your self-image and your reality, your experience, actually corresponds. Because reality takes the path of least resistance. If you hold to be true about yourself these kind of things, reality will show you to it too. Because it would be nonsense to show you something that doesn't match what you believe to be true. It takes the path of least resistance. So then going out and taking a lot of different action to change this part makes no sense because it's not the path of least resistance. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to actually change this. If you focus yourself on the self-image, what you hold to be true about yourself and what you not hold to be true about yourself, and you change this part will take care of itself because it's the path of least resistance. It's a very simple concept. And we think the simpler it gets, the harder to grasp the idea and to be the truth. But it's the other way around. The concepts that are more complicated usually are complicated because we don't fully understand them. So we try to overcomplicate them and add more facts to cover the fact that we don't understand it. So try this for yourself. Really think about it for yourself. Do this really exercise and see if it really corresponds your self-image with what you experience, what you have, don't have, where you live, where you go. Okay, so now we know that in order to change the outside, we need to change what is on the inside. We always try to take the action, but the action will correspond always to what we hold to be true about ourselves and who we are. If you change this, the action change and the environment change. So the first step you need to take, and one of the keys that I was mentioning before, is the desire to make a change. The desire to make a change not on the outside, but on the inside. So key number one is desire. Desire always stays just a wishful thinking or a wish unless you have an intention behind it, unless you make a decision that you are going to do it. In this case, decision is not like a massive action or action to go out, but actually work on the internal state of beings. That's what I mean by that. You don't really need to know how or when the change is going to happen. You just need to know what you want to change and why you want to change it. So this is the first key. Key number two is your imagination. When there is a will, then there is a way. So your desire is your will and imagination is your way. What you need to do to actually change your self-view, so your self-image, you need to imagine what you want it to be like. But imagining without actually identifying with it, it's just imagining. It's like desiring without intention. So if you really want to make your imagination something that's going to make the change, you need to reach the emotional state of when your wishes are fulfilled. You need to be familiar with the feeling, how it feels like when you achieve whatever you want to achieve. If you are able to find the state and make the emotional state as vivid as possible, and then assume to be the truth, this your self-image will change, and then the environment will change as well. So the key really with the imagination is to reach the emotional state where you are as vividly experiencing as your day-to-day life. You need to be associated, identified with the vision you have in your imagination. You need to be the person who has already accomplished whatever you set out to accomplish, whether it's financial, health, or relationship. You need to feel like the person who already has his wish fulfilled. So that's step number two, imagination. Step number three, it's an attention. We live in an age full of distraction and appearances. We get so easily distracted and we get lost of our emotional state that we want to have. And at the same time, we're throwing at us constantly some different appearances that don't correspond with our truth that we decided with our imagination. So your only job is to keep your truth with you all the time, to have it all the time on your mind, but not just on your mind, but on your heart too. You need to be associated with the feeling constantly. The more you can be with the feeling of how your wish fulfilled feels like, the faster it will happen. So really the key here is an attention. If you can think the truth no matter what you see outside, no matter what appearance is in front of you, you will see your truth outside and the appearance will disappear. Like Wallace said in his book, Science of Getting Rich, think based on appearances is easy. Think the truth requires a power. But he who acquires this power can conquer fate. He who has this power becomes a mastermind and can have whatever he wants to. So be the mastermind and have your attention on what you want. Step number 4 is an action. And this is actually a step that you don't really need to worry about because action will follow by itself. If you are able to change all of these things and do them properly, you don't ever have to worry about what kind of action you have to take. You'll be either inspired or the action will be presented to you, right? You don't have to worry how you need to get something or when the something will happen, because you already experiencing on the internal state of being, so the action will be presented to you or you'll be inspired to do it. Whenever you think you need to do something to get something, it just means that these 3 steps are not in order. So always when that feeling occurs to you that, oh, I need to be, then it means that you are not. So get back where you want, find your imagination, what you want to be, what you want to see, find the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and hold your attention onto it as long as you can. And the action will present themselves to you. So that's very, very simple way. And this is how you can take a path of least resistance by changing your self-image. To really conclude this video, Let's go really quickly one more time through what we've talked about. You need to have your desire to make the change on the internal side. And desire is again just a wish unless you take an action to actually start working on it. The action you do is using your imagination properly. You are not imagining the bad scenarios that we usually do, the negative dialogue that we have in our minds, but you imagine what you want to see. You imagine your wish fulfilled, and not just imagine, but you feel the wish fulfilled. Now, step number 3 is to hold your attention on that feeling and the thing that is imagined with the feeling of wish fulfilled, okay? So as long as you can hold your attention on that, anything else will not matter to you. And step number 4 is action, but you don't have to worry about the action. That's just a natural process that will follow from your thinking and believing. With that said, I conclude this video, and I really urge you to actually try it for yourself. If you already tried to do it this way, I'm pretty sure it worked for you. If you haven't, don't be insane by Einstein's definition that you take the same action over and over again and expect different result. Try this for yourself. Instead of taking always an action, first try to change your internal state of being, and then let the action be presented to you or flow naturally from you. And with that said, if you like this video, please leave a like. If everything has been clear, leave a comment that was clear, and if something was unanswered, just give me a comment and I'll get back to you for sure. And subscribe to the channel because more amazing videos are coming your way, and I'll be happy to share this life-changing information with you. Thank you. Peace. See you next one.